Admiral Jeho Park stood at the large window of Earth's Space Defense Station, looking at the beautiful blue planet below. It was just another normal day in 2157, or so he thought. Earth had grown peaceful in the last few decades. Humans had built homes on the Moon and Mars, and things were going well. That changed when the morning alarm went off. "Admiral, unknown ships coming in fast," shouted Lieutenant De Hyun at her control station. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing screen. "They're big, sir. Really big." Jaiho walked to the main screen, his face calm even though his heart was beating faster. The screen showed 30 massive ships entering Earth's orbit. They looked like they were made of crystal, and they sparkled in the sunlight. Each ship was bigger than the biggest city on Earth. "Get me a close-up view," Jaiho ordered. The screen zoomed in on one of the crystal ships. It was beautiful but scary. No human had ever seen anything like it. "Sir, they're sending us a message," Da-hyun said. Her hand shook a little as she pressed the buttons to play it. The big screen changed. A face appeared that made everyone in the room gasp. It was a human face, a Korean woman wearing strange, shiny clothes. "I am Delegate Neri Kim of the Galactic Council," she said. Her voice was cold and formal. "Earth has been watched for many years. I have served the Council as their secret observer. Now, it is time for Earth to join the galactic community. On our terms." Jaiho's eyes narrowed. "What terms?" he asked. Neri's face showed no emotion. "The Council demands tribute. Earth must give us 30% of all its resources. That means 30% of your water, food, metals, and workers. You have 3 days to say yes. If you say no," she paused, "Earth will be cut off from space travel forever. Your species might not survive." The room went completely quiet. Jaiho could hear his own breathing. 3 days, Neri repeated. Then the screen went dark. Within an hour, Earth's leaders gathered in the Global Emergency Center in Seoul. The room was huge, with screens covering every wall. Pictures of the crystal ships filled each screen. People were talking all at once, some angry, others scared. Defense Minister Taiwan Lee hit the table with his fist. "We should fight," he shouted. His face was red with anger. "We can't let them push us around." "Fight?" asked someone else. "Did you see those ships? They're huge." In the corner of the room, Chief Scientist Hye-Yun Choi sat quietly, watching readings from her tablet. She was looking at energy patterns from the alien ships. Something about them seemed odd. "Minister Lee," Jaiho said, speaking up for the first time, "fighting might not be smart right now. We need to learn more about what we're dealing with." Hye-Yun stood up. "Admiral Park is right," she said. Her voice was soft but strong. "These ships, there's something strange about them. The energy they use. I've seen patterns like this before." The room got quiet again. Everyone turned to look at her. "What do you mean?" Jaiho asked. "I need time to study this," Hye-Yun said. "But I don't think these ships are as advanced as they want us to think. There's something familiar about their technology." Taiwan laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "Familiar? They crossed space to get here. They have ships made of crystal. How can that be familiar?" Hye-Yun didn't answer. She was already typing on her tablet, sending messages to scientists around the world. The meeting went on for hours. Outside, the news was spreading. People everywhere looked up at the sky, scared of the crystal ships watching from above. Parents held their children close. Workers left their jobs to be with their families. The whole world waited to hear what would happen next. In space, aboard the defense station, Jaiho watched the Earth turn slowly below. The crystal ships hadn't moved. They just sat there, sparkling, waiting for Earth's answer. "Lieutenant Da-hyun," he called. "Yes, sir." "Send a message to all our ships in the solar system. Tell them to be ready. And get me everything we have on Delegate Kim. If she was living on Earth as a secret watcher, there must be records." "Yes, sir. Right away." Jai-Ho turned back to the window. In all his years protecting Earth, he had never felt so worried. But something He-Yun said kept coming back to him. The ship's technology seemed familiar to her. What did that mean? His computer beeped. A message from He-Yun appeared. Meet me in Lab 7. Found something important. When Jai-Ho reached the lab, He-Yun was surrounded by screens showing complicated patterns. Her eyes were bright with excitement. Look at this, she said, pointing to one screen. These energy patterns from the alien ships, they're using a type of quantum drive we designed 10 years ago. We didn't build it because we found better ways. Their technology isn't more advanced than ours. It's older. Jai-Ho stared at the screen. Are you sure? Very sure. And there's more. The crystal their ships are made of. It's similar to something we can grow in our labs. We just never made it so big because, well, we didn't need to. For the first time since the ships arrived, Jai-Ho smiled a little. So what you're saying is, they're trying to scare us with fancy-looking technology that we already understand. They're bullies with big ships, nothing more. Jai-Ho nodded slowly. Get your findings ready. We need to show this to the world leaders. And He-Yun. Yes. Good work. You might have just given Earth a fighting chance. As they walked to the meeting room, Jai-Ho looked once more at the crystal ships above. They didn't seem quite so scary now. Earth had faced bullies before. Earth had won before. The clock was ticking. 2.5 days left to give the Galactic Council their answer. But now, thanks to He-Yun's discovery, they had something they didn't have before. They had hope. Dr. Yun-Ah Ba loved working on the moon. From her laboratory window in the Lunar Research Station, she could see both the Earth and the strange crystal ships that now surrounded it. The ships glowed softly in the darkness of space, like giant diamonds catching starlight. She hadn't slept much since the ships arrived 2 days ago. Something about their energy readings bothered her, but she couldn't figure out what it was. Her research partner, Dr. Jin Woo Kang, brought her another cup of coffee. You should rest, Jin Woo said, putting the cup next to her computer. You've been staring at these readings for hours. Yuna shook her head. There's something here, Jin Woo. Something important. She pointed to the screen showing waves of energy coming from the alien ships. Look at this pattern. Doesn't it remind you of something? Jin Woo leaned closer to the screen. His eyes widened. Wait, that looks like the energy pattern from our old quantum engine tests. Exactly. Yuna stood up quickly, almost knocking over her coffee. Remember that project we worked on 5 years ago? The one we stopped because we found a better way. She quickly pulled up old files on another screen. The patterns were almost the same. The alien ships were using technology that Earth scientists had already tested and improved upon years ago. But why would an advanced alien civilization use outdated technology? Jin Woo asked, scratching his head. Yuna was already typing fast on her keyboard. What if they're not as advanced as they want us to think? What if she stopped suddenly? Jin Woo, help me access the galactic data they sent us. When the aliens arrived, they had shared some basic information about other civilizations in the galaxy. Most people thought it was to show how powerful the Galactic Council was, but Yuna was looking for something else. For the next hour, they dug through the data. With each discovery, their excitement grew stronger. Look at this. Yuna pointed to a chart. Every civilization that joins the Council stops developing new technology soon after. They all use the same systems, the same engines, the same everything. Jin Woo nodded slowly. And look at the dates. The Council's technology hasn't changed in over 100 years. Why? Because they don't want it to change, Yuna said quietly. They're not sharing technology. They're controlling it, keeping everyone at the same level, using the same old systems. She stood up and walked to the window. The crystal ships still sparkled, but now they seemed less impressive. They're not more advanced than us, Jin Woo. They just want us to think they are. They use big, shiny ships and fancy shows of power to scare everyone into obeying them. Jin Woo joined her at the window. We need to tell someone about this. Already doing it. Yuna was sending messages to Earth. But there's more we need to check. Help me set up the quantum scanner. I want to know exactly what those ships are made of. They worked through the night, running tests and gathering data. Each new discovery made them more excited. The crystal material of the alien ships was similar to something Earth scientists had created in labs. The aliens had just made it bigger and prettier. Their computers kept finding more proof. The Council didn't rule the galaxy because they were more advanced. They ruled it by keeping other civilizations from becoming too advanced. They demanded tribute not because they needed resources, but because it kept other worlds poor and weak. Send everything to Admiral Park, Yuna said as the Earth rose outside their window. And Jinwoo, send it to every major science center on Earth too. Everyone needs to know about this. Just then, their screen showed a new message from the crystal ships. Delegate Neri Kim's face appeared. 24 hours remain, she said coldly. The Council awaits Earth's answer. Yuna looked at Jinwoo and smiled. Oh, they'll get their answer. But I don't think it's the one they're expecting. They quickly packed their most important findings into simple reports that anyone could understand. As Yuna pressed the button to send everything to Earth, she felt proud. The Council had tried to fool humanity with fancy tricks and big shows of power. But humans had done what they always did best. They looked deeper, asked questions, and found the truth. In her office on Earth, Chief Scientist Hye-Yeon Choi received their findings. She read through everything twice, then called Admiral Park. Admiral, she said, her voice excited, you need to see this right away. Dr. Ba and Dr. Kang found something incredible. The Council, they're not what they seem to be. As the last day of the Council's deadline began, the truth about their technology spread quickly through Earth's scientific community. The giant crystal ships didn't seem so scary anymore. They were just big ships using old technology, made to look impressive and frightening. The Council had made a big mistake. They thought humans would see their ships and be scared into giving up. They didn't understand that humans were different. When humans saw something new and scary, they didn't just accept it. They studied it. They questioned it. They figured it out. Now, with just hours left to respond to the Council's demand, Earth's leaders gathered again. This time, they weren't scared. This time, they had knowledge. And knowledge was more powerful than any crystal ship. Yuna and Jinwoo watched from their lab on the moon as Earth prepared its answer. They had shown everyone the truth about the Council's power. Now it was time to see what Earth would do with that truth. The Council had asked for Earth's surrender. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength, the power to question, to learn, and to discover. Now the whole galaxy was about to learn what happened when someone tried to bully the wrong planet. The Global Emergency Center in Seoul was packed with people. Only 6 hours remained before Earth had to answer the Galactic Council. President Sun Hee-moon sat at the head of the large round table, reading through the reports from Dr. Ba and Dr. Kang one more time. The room was quiet enough to hear papers rustling. Admiral Jeho Park stood up first. He touched a button, and a big screen lit up behind him. Thanks to our scientists' work, we now understand the Council's ships better, he said. He showed pictures of the crystal ships, but this time with notes about their weak points. Their shields are strong, but they use old technology. Our newer quantum weapons could break through them, Jeho explained. He spoke slowly so everyone could understand. They look powerful, but they're like a paper tiger, scary on the outside, weak on the inside. Chief Scientist Hye-Yeon Choi stepped up next. She shared more pictures on the screen. The Council's technology stopped growing many years ago, she said. They don't make new things anymore. They just keep using the same old machines and ships. She showed 2 pictures side by side. One was from the alien ships, the other from Earth's labs. See these energy patterns. Ours are better. We stopped using their type of engine because we found better ways. Defense Minister Tadwan Lee smiled for the first time in 3 days. So we could fight them if we needed to. We could, Jaiho said. But that's not the most important thing we learned. He showed a new picture. It was a map of the galaxy, with thousands of dots showing different worlds. Every dot is a world that pays tribute to the Council, he explained. Every world that gives them resources gets the same old technology in return. No world is allowed to make better technology. The Council keeps everyone weak so they can stay in charge. President Moon stood up slowly. She was a small woman, but when she spoke, everyone listened. So the Council isn't really stronger than us, she said. They just want us to think they are. They use fear to control others. Yes, Hei-Hun said. And there's more. Dr. Ba found proof that some worlds tried to make better technology in secret. The Council destroyed those worlds to scare others. The room got very quiet again. Everyone thought about what that meant. But we're different, President Moon said. We already have better technology. We just didn't know it until now. She walked to the front of the room. The Council thinks we'll be scared of their big ships. They think we'll give up and do what they say, like other worlds did. She looked at each person in the room. They don't understand humans very well, do they? Some people laughed softly. Others nodded. What's our military readiness? President Moon asked Jaiho. All ships are in position, he answered. Every base on Earth, the Moon, and Mars is ready. We can fight if we need to. And our technology. Hei-Yun stepped forward. We've updated all our shields and weapons. If they attack, they'll find out quickly that their old technology isn't good enough anymore. President Moon nodded. She pressed a button on the table. A screen appeared, showing Delegate Neri Kim's face. The Korean woman who worked for the Council looked calm and cold as always. Delegate Kim, President Moon said. Earth is ready to give its answer to the Council. Excellent, Neri said. I assume you've made the wise choice to cooperate. 30% of your resources is a small price for peace. President Moon smiled slightly. We've learned a lot in these 3 days, Delegate Kim. We've learned about the Council's technology. We've learned how you keep other worlds weak. We've learned what you do to worlds that try to grow stronger. For the first time, Neri's calm face changed. She looked worried for just a second, but everyone saw it. And we've learned something else. President Moon continued. We've learned that humans are different from the other worlds you've bullied. We don't give up. We don't stop growing. And we don't let bullies tell us what to do. She stood straighter. Earth's answer to your demand is simple. Would you like to hear it? Neri's face was cold again. Speak your answer then, but choose carefully. The Council's patience has limits. President Moon's voice was clear and strong as she gave Earth's answer. No. The room was completely quiet. On the screen, Neri's face showed real surprise. No, she repeated. Perhaps you don't understand. The Council. We understand perfectly, President Moon said. And our answer is still no. We will not give you our resources. We will not let you make us weak. We will not be bullied. She stepped closer to the screen. And one more thing. We're going to tell every world in the galaxy the truth about the Council. We're going to share what we've learned. Let's see how strong the Council is when nobody's afraid of them anymore. Neri's face turned angry. You've made a terrible mistake. The Council will. The Council will do nothing, President Moon said. Because if you attack us, everyone will see how weak you really are. Your power comes from fear, and we're not afraid anymore. She turned off the screen before Neri could answer. The room burst into applause. They'll try to attack, Jaiho said quietly when the applause ended. They have to, or other worlds will start to question them too. Let them try, President Moon said. Humanity has faced bullies before. We know what to do with them. She looked around the room. Send the message to all our forces, and send Dr. Ba's findings to every communication system we can reach. The whole galaxy needs to know the truth." As people hurried to follow her orders, President Moon walked to the window. The crystal ships still hung in the sky, sparkling in the sunlight. Soon, those ships would have to choose: attack and show their weakness, or leave and lose their power. Either way, the galaxy was about to change. And it all started with one word: no. The crystal ships made their first move exactly 1 hour after Earth said no. They spread out in a big circle around Earth, their weapons glowing with bright blue light. Admiral Jeho Park watched from the Space Defense Station as they got into position. "They're trying to look scary one last time," he said to Lieutenant Dudhyun. "Let's show them what real power looks like." Earth's ships moved too, but not in the same old ways that the Council expected. Instead of meeting the crystal ships head-on, Earth's smaller ships zipped between them, moving in patterns that the Council had never seen before. The crystal ships tried to follow them, but couldn't turn fast enough. In her lab on the moon, Dr. Yuna Bod watched the space battle through her window. "Their ships are too big," she said to Jinwoo. "They built them to look impressive, but that makes them slow. Our ships are smaller and faster." The Council ships fired their weapons. Beautiful blue beams shot through space toward Earth. But Earth was ready. The new shields that He-Yun had helped design lit up like silver mirrors, catching the blue beams and spreading them harmlessly into space. "It's working," Jinwoo shouted, watching the data on his screens. "Their weapons are using the same old energy type they've always used. Our new shields are too strong for them." But the battle in space wasn't the most important thing happening. While the Council was busy trying to attack Earth, Yuna and her team were doing something much more powerful. They were telling the truth to the whole galaxy. Every communication system they could reach got the same message. Proof that the Council's power was built on lies. Pictures showing their old technology. Data proving how they kept other worlds weak. Evidence of how Earth's newer technology was already better than the Council's. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The crystal ships kept trying to attack Earth, and Earth's ships kept dancing around them, showing how much better they were. But then something amazing started happening. Other worlds began to respond. First came a message from a planet called New Haven: "We stand with Earth." Then another from the Star Worlds: "We won't pay tribute anymore." More and more messages came in. Worlds that had been afraid of the Council for years were finding their courage. In the Global Emergency Center, President Moon read each message as it arrived. "Send them everything," she told her staff. "Send them our shield designs. Send them our engine plans. Send them everything they need to stand up to the Council." The Council's ships started disappearing from Earth's sky. Not all at once, but one by one. They were needed elsewhere as more and more worlds began to resist. Soon only 5 crystal ships were left. That's when something unexpected happened. One of the crystal ships turned its weapons on another Council ship. "What's happening?" Jeho asked, watching from his station. The answer came in a transmission from the rebel ship. It was Neri Kim, but she looked different. The cold look was gone from her face. "I've served the Council for 30 years, she said. "I helped them keep others weak. I told myself it was for the greater good." She paused. "Earth showed me I was wrong. The Council doesn't make the galaxy better. They just keep everyone from growing stronger." Her ship fired again at the Council ships. This time, other Council ships began to turn too. They had seen the truth, and they couldn't ignore it anymore. The battle ended quickly after that. The few Council ships that still wanted to fight couldn't win against everyone else. They fled into deep space, leaving Earth's sky clear and blue again. But the real changes were just beginning. Ships from other worlds started arriving, not to fight but to learn. They wanted to see Earth's technology for themselves. They wanted to learn how to make their own worlds stronger. President Moon made Neri Kim Earth's first ambassador to the free worlds. "You know both sides," she told her. You can help us build something better than the Council ever did." Neri nodded, tears in her eyes. "The Council taught worlds to be afraid. Earth can teach them to be brave." Over the next few months, a new group formed. They called it the Galactic Cooperative. Every world could join, but there were new rules. No tributes, no keeping secrets, no stopping others from growing stronger. Every world would share what they learned. Every world would help others grow. Dr. Yuna Ba and Dr. Jin Wukang led a new science team that helped other worlds build better technology. He-Yun worked with scientists from 100 different planets, sharing ideas and making new discoveries. Admiral Park helped worlds build better ships, ones that were actually useful instead of just looking scary. One day, President Moon stood in front of the Global Emergency Center again. But this time, she wasn't facing a threat. She was welcoming visitors from 50 different worlds. "The Council thought they could scare us into giving up," she told them. "They didn't understand that humans don't work that way. When we're scared, we look closer. When we're threatened, we grow stronger. When someone tells us to stop growing, we grow even more." She smiled at the room full of different beings from different worlds. "But most importantly, when we grow stronger, we help others grow stronger too. That's the real difference between Earth and the Council. They wanted to keep everyone weak so they could stay in charge. We want to help everyone grow stronger so we can all move forward together." The story of how Earth changed the galaxy became famous, but the most famous part wasn't the space battle or the falling of the Council. It was the one word that started it all. The word that showed the galaxy a different way. No. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is a simple word. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is refuse to be afraid. And sometimes, when you stand up to a bully, you don't just help yourself. You help everyone else find their courage too. The crystal ships never came back to Earth. They didn't need to. The new ships being built across the galaxy were better. They weren't built to look scary or powerful. They were built to explore, to learn, and to bring worlds together. And that was the real victory.